Cindy.
Okay, hi Cindy. Okay, so we have Cindy on the left and we have Karen on the right. So you were gonna talk about the test. What's it called?
Yeah,
Myers.
it's this Myers-Briggs test. It's a personality test.
Yeah.
And, I don't know how to describe it. They do it in businesses a lot to see who you are, to see how you get along,
Mm-hmm.
so that people working together can understand.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you liked things to be all finished, and I like to leave things open-ended, and so that's why we have personality conflicts.
Oh, okay.
So my dad worked for Boeing, and we took the test as a family, like, eons ago. But anyway, ever
That's
since I
fun.
met my husband, I made him take the test. And I love it, because then you get it's like the homeopathic books. You get to see you're this category, and then this is what you are, and I like to put myself in these little categories.
Uh-huh.
So homeopathy is great for me, because as soon as I found out I was phosphorus, I'm like,
Yay.
well, then you can read all about it. You go, oh, well, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And the kids too, So I could
And
figure
did
it
you
all
figure
out
what your husband is? Is
No.
he interested?
No.
See, my boyfriend's not either.
No?
He's like, he refers to it as the witch doctor.
Right?
Okay, yeah, go to the witch doctor.
Yeah.
Do you think you need to
But
go
if
to the
I
witch
could
doctor?
trick him and bring him in, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my son is that, he, on the other hand, is interested. He's like,
Oh, that's
he's
cool.
really interested. He's 21.
Oh, yeah.
And he's interested in hearing some more about it
Awesome.
and finding out,
Right. Right.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
Because I asked him what I could do for my husband. I said, we came up with an idea. Maybe I could videotape him at home
Oh.
and just fill out the questionnaire. And I said, could you
Yeah.
diagnose what he was? So Dr. Shreve said possibly, but
No, I think a
It's not
picture,
really great.
picture or video, a
Mhm.
short video would be helpful.
yeah.
And
So,
see him in action.
yeah.
Well, and you know what I think is funny is that even though my boyfriend refers to it as the witch doctor, and he's like too much of a too much of a man's
Right.
man. He's not, but he still is in the cupboard taking the daily, like the
yeah.
like the bio-veg stuff.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
all that.
When he
kind of
gets sick,
stuff.
he takes a super
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
So I think I might have a shot at
Mhm.
convincing him
Maybe,
a little
yeah,
bit more.
maybe you'll get in there before I do.
But that's interesting. That
Usually-
did he take the personality?
Well, yeah, because he was dating me, so he was going to do anything.
Oh, fun!
He was willing to do
If I would
anything.
have met Dr. Sharif when we were
Yeah.
dating.
That would have helped.
Huh.
Yeah. So,
That's excellent.
but yeah, I love homeopathy. So far, I've liked, we respond really well, and it's easy, and staying off the coffee has been the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Well, and then you had some, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
started cheating last month.
Yeah. And I reassured you that it was okay, didn't I?
Yeah, because I told him I should be an exception. I believe I am.
She believed, last time you said that you believed you felt fine after drinking coffee.
Yeah, because I had come into him and that makes me remember we didn't remedy me last time.
That's so funny
Yeah.
because I did that. I was like, when I was just about due
Mhm.
for another
Oh, to come
remedy,
in. Mhm.
I had a cup of coffee and I
Right.
was I felt so guilty.
You had it
And I
right
kept-
before you came in.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I
That's
came
just
in here
cool.
and he could tell immediately. He's like, how long has it been since you've had a remedy? And I'm like, I had coffee.
You had
2
coffee
days ago.
breath
Yeah.
still.
I couldn't tell because of her breath.
No.
I could tell. I could tell because her
She
energy.
came in and she smelled like coffee beans.
No. Her energy had changed.
Yeah. And, but I knew that I was, and I was like, does that make me a bad phosphorus? Because I gave up my, it's like I knew I shouldn't have coffee, but I did it anyway. And
Yeah.
it was okay. Because you
Mhm.
said that a lot of people do that.
Yeah. Oh,
He must get a lot of confessions.
more
in
often
here.
than
Yeah,
not.
I know, that's what
people
it felt
come in,
like.
they're like, I just had a cup because I knew you were gonna redose me today.
Well, it's a
That's
hard
exactly
place
what I
to
did,
work.
yeah.
You're working in the Northwest, and this is where we drink a lot of coffee.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
If
I know.
you were in a different part of the world or the states or
Exactly.
something. Yeah.
Yep.
See, Seattle
Yeah.
coffee.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
So before we started,
Yeah.
you said you felt nervous.
Yes.
Okay, and then I said your type of phosphorus would be more likely to
The
be
thin,
nervous.
the thin phosphorus.
Karen,
Let's
make
leave.
me feel
Don't leave
bad.
that out now. If you're gonna throw it out there, you gotta throw it out there all the way.
God, I feel horrible now. I should have said the more Vata Pitta.
It's
for the
okay. We
students.
just need to clarify.
I'm sorry, Karen. So Karen is the more kapha type of phosphorus. Well, in Indian medicine, they call your makeup kapha, and Cindy is more. I suppose I'd say you would be more vata. Yeah, more vata. And vatas are usually thinner, and kaphas are more overweight usually. So, but it's funny. Both of you guys are phosphorus. So homeopathically, it's the same constitution, but from the Ayurvedic standpoint, different. They call them doshas. Different makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Karen. Did I hurt your feelings?
No, not at all. So worrying is a phosphorus trait. We
Anxiety.
just do it differently.
Yeah. The more kapha type, like yourself, the more kapha phosphoruses, even if they're anxious, they don't look it.
Hmm.
They don't appear anxious. They always appear laid back and cool.
Hmm.
Yeah. Would you say? How do you feel when you're anxious? Do you think people can tell?
I'm pretty verbal about it.
Hmm.
I put it out there.
Mhm.
It's like if I'm worried about something, that takes priority.
Oh, right,
You know,
right.
it's usually about my son, or, well, I don't know. If I'm worried about something work related, I usually take it immediately to a coworker or to my boss because I'm very, very close with her. But I don't know if I don't know if it's visible.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably visible because I put it out there.
You mean verbally? Verbally?
Yes, yes.
But like when I said I was nervous earlier, I went to look at you and thought you looked nervous.
Really?
You wouldn't have.
No, she didn't look nervous.
She didn't look nervous, did
But
she?
then she said she felt nervous, right?
Were you feeling nervous before I started videoing?
I was, I don't know if I was nervous. I was kind of, on the way here, yeah. I thought, geez, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I don't like being on the spot. I don't
Yeah.
like being the center of attention. I don't like being in front of a class or something like that. There's just no way.
I'm sorry.
There's no way.
But you were so kind, you came over anyway. I'm so grateful to you.
You know what I wanted to ask you, do you have a lot of uptight friends? Do you feel that you draw uptight people? 'Cause you're
I
more
don't
relaxed?
think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. In fact, I think most of my friends are pretty, I don't know if they're easygoing. I think they kind of are. I think
Oh,
they're
okay.
pretty much easygoing.
Okay, so that's not a universal
Are yours,
thing.
you find yourself surrounded by,
I wouldn't say the majority, but I do feel like I have a lot of mom friends that things bother them that don't bother me. And so I
Yeah.
think, what's the big deal?
are you the go-to person? Kind
maybe,
of?
maybe, yeah, because I'm kind of more calm about stuff. You know, like when they're young and they're getting into everything, that doesn't bother me. I just got rid of stuff.
Yeah,
Why stress about it?
yeah,
But I feel like, throughout my life, I've had more friends that are a little kind of wound up tight, and
Yeah.
I'm the one who's going, it's okay,
Exactly.
it's no big deal.
And
Yeah.
That's the phosphorus.
So I don't know.
That's
So maybe it's not a universal thing.
I don't wanna,
I would suspect that you guys both would find that most people around you are uptight compared to you. Because phosphoruses
Yeah,
are the least uptight
that could
people.
be.
They're the least the least uptight people. Would you say that, Karen?
I'm thinking, yeah, probably. I find myself the kind of like the nurturing
Mhm.
one,
Mhm.
which might be because I think I end up in that chair because I am so easygoing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing that can't be figured out. There's a solution.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
The biggest problem is finding the solution.
Mm-hmm.
And so I end up doing a lot of that
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff. So you might be right. I might be,
Mhm.
I just never realized it.
Oh, right.
That's another difference between the kapha phosphoruses and the vata / pitta,
Right.
I suppose, phosphoruses, is that the more kapha type, like Karen here, they're not, they're more, forgive me for saying that, but they're more fuzzy in their thinking. They're
I'm
more
very fuzzy.
They're more fuzzy. See how Cindy, when you express that do you find that you a lot of your friends are more uptight or whatever?
Mhm.
There was a clarity in your
Yes.
thought and in the way you expressed it.
Right.
The more Vata type of phosphorus are more like that. They're more clear. There's
okay.
nothing. There's really hardly anything fuzzy about how they think and operate.
Oh, okay.
But Karen, the more Kapha type of phosphorus, that's one of their complaints is, and you might have some of this complaint yourself.
Mhm.
You might Cindy might complain of being fuzzy, but she doesn't come across fuzzy.
I get really frustrated with that.
Yeah, but
Oh.
like your type of phosphorus would not only complain, I mean, not only appear sometimes fuzzy, perhaps to some others if they're really watching you, but also they complain of that. They actually
They don't
complain.
like it, yeah.
Yeah, they say, forgetful. They sometimes talk about forgetfulness. I don't know if you
Yeah.
and I have talked about it, but a lot of times they do.
Oh.
Forgetfulness, lack of focus.
Well, and being able to express
Mhm.
clearly
Hmm.
what it is I'm trying to say.
Oh.
Yeah.
You did it very in one sentence.
I know. Now that
I'm
using
very envious of that.
yes, yeah.
Well, I've thought about it before, so maybe that has to do with it. But when, I don't know, one of our times that I saw Dr. Sharif, I said, we should make a website, like all the constitution types can get together, the
Yeah.
phosphoruses and the pulsatilities.
I know. I love that.
And say their things, but of course I never got it going. I have a lot of good ideas, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I wanted
really
to help
happen.
get him to Oprah.
Yeah, I know. Karen here wanted me to get on Oprah.
That'd be awesome.
I know,
Before
but-
she stops her show.
I know. Gosh.
I know. How unfair is that?
Wouldn't
I
that be
feel like
sad?
we're so close.
We're so close.
That'd be great.
We've done so much work, right? You've done a
Yeah.
lot of work to get me on that
And
show.
you just got to the Dr.
Dr.
Oz.
Oz. I know, it's
yes.
That'd be
I know.
cool.
It would be great. Okay, so talking about finishing tasks.
Yeah.
Cindy, you just mentioned that sometimes you do have a lot of great ideas, but sometimes you don't get to do them.
Yeah.
Can you mind saying a few words about that? Because
Yeah.
the more Kapha type of phosphorus, like Karen on the right, they, as a rule, they tend, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe, well, I know they have a harder time completing tasks than some other people, but comparing her with you, I'd say you probably have an easier time
Mm.
because your mind is more focused.
Oh, okay.
So, but how do you feel? Do you feel like
I
you're
think
often?
that's good. I mean, I do think I do finish some things that I decide to start.
Mhm.
But I think the bad thing is I have a lot more ideas in my head that
Mhm.
I never do finish.
Mhm.
And once I start doing something like diet, let's say diet-wise,
Mm-hmm.
a month ago I decided to stop eating sugar. I won't
Mhm.
eat refined sugar right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll eat alternative sweeteners, but I won't eat, white refined sugar. But after I've been doing that a while, then I start thinking, I'm going to go off all wheat.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think, and then I'm going to run every day. And you just start thinking of all these like super healthy, good
Mhm.
for you things that you're
Mhm.
going to do. And my goals just kind of like explode in my brain. But then I don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I have stayed off sugar, so I'm focused enough to do with one.
How long have you been off sugar again?
4 weeks,
4 weeks.
I cheated a little on the weekend.
Karen, could you do that? Could you do that?
No, that was part of the. I had a gastric bypass. Or no, I didn't. I had the lap band.
Yeah.
I had the lap band, and part of what this doctor wanted was no dairy, no sugar,
Oh, okay.
and
Prior to the operation or afterwards?
after
After.
he wants that cut out completely
Yeah.
out of your diet.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I had there was no shot. There was not.
Yeah.
There was no shot at all that was going to happen.
You're like, no.
And I had it. Yeah, it's like no.
You wrote non-compliant.
Okay, no.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, I just see, and I have great hopes to accomplish, like the Secret Society, to
That's
go
right,
to
that's
work
right.
out, to go to the gym.
Yeah.
I have it in my head. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't do it.
I wonder if physical exercise is hard for phosphoruses.
Is it hard for you?
Yeah, but
I hate
I
it.
will make myself, but
See,
that's really hard.
Yeah.
And I didn't when I was young and I wasn't active.
really,
But
See,
do you actually hate it?
willpowers.
Do you actually hate it?
I hate it.
Really?
I really do.
Have you ever exercised for, let's say, 2 weeks in a row? Like, say, several times a week and a few times a week?
Faithfully, like
Yeah, 2
on the
weeks in a row.
schedule. No.
See, I believe exercise is hard for just about anyone.
Yeah.
But once you start, it gets, after a few weeks, it gets easier.
Yeah.
Once it
and that's
gets
where I want to
easier-
get.
Once you get there, then it's significantly easier to stick with it. The first few weeks is just hard for everybody.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, Cindy, is it harder for phosphoruses? Probably harder. If it is harder, I don't think it's so much physical as it is mental, because they're really laid back emotionally.
Right.
They're just not uptight at all. So because they're so laid back, which is a wonderful trait, they're almost over the top laid back sometimes. Especially
Yeah.
the more kapha type, like Karen, like you. They're so laid back that sometimes they don't even care about sticking to something that's good, like exercise. They
Yeah.
just, not that they know. I mean, they realize it's healthy for them, but they're just too laid back to care about it. And then mentally, that's one
That's
emotion.
so true.
Yeah, so emotionally,
I
that's their
just don't
challenge.
care about it.
They don't care about it. They want to lose the weight, but they wish God would,
Yeah.
would send a genie.
It'd just be different. Yeah.
No,
I want to do 3 sit-ups and have a flat tummy.
Right.
I don't understand.
the more Vata Pitta type of phosphorus, like Cindy,
Yeah.
they are not quite as laid back as the more Kapha type like Karen. They're not quite as laid back, but they're still very laid back compared to most people in the society. So that can make it difficult to exercise if you really laid back. But then but both types of phosphoruses, Karen and Cindy, both types, they sometimes have a it's hard to focus sometimes. And again, it's harder for Karen, I'd say, to focus than it is for Cindy.
Okay. Because I can stick with it for a while and then
Yes.
I just peter out.
Yeah. Of
But
course,
in
a lot of
in
people.
my mind, I'm going to do a lot of things. I'm going to run a marathon by the time I was 40, but I already turned 40.
Mhm.
So it didn't
You want to do a
happen.
marathon?
No, I'm not even close. I don't even run right now.
But you see, you had a lot of goals.
Yeah.
Do you set a
I
lot
have
of goals like that, Karen?
Not like that. Not like that. I do set goals, but they're more kind of work related
Mhm.
because I like to do I look at the big picture and then I try to
Mhm.
organize it
Mhm.
so that it will be easy.
Mm-hmm.
It will fall into place. So I don't really, I mean, I get caught up in, kind of like what you said, where I have all these great ideas, all these great organizational ideas in my head, and I will let it get to the point, because I work best under pressure. So I might wait until the very last minute.
Yeah, I can see that
And
for
then-
kapha phosphorus.
And then it will kick in.
Yeah.
And I'll get it done.
Right.
But I cause myself this great anxiety because every day I'm thinking, oh gosh, I should have
Yes.
done this. I was gonna do that.
Do
and
you-
then
Right.
Cindy, do you procrastinate like that? I bet not as much.
Not really.
I bet you don't.
As a young person, I did.
But now you don't really procrastinate.
Not as
You're probably
much.
more.
I'm more of a planner.
You're more a planner and more. I would imagine just knowing your type of phosphorus, the more Vata type. I would say you would be planning things out and you actually proceed without as much delay. I mean, you're not delinquent on things. You just get it done, right?
No, I'm not.
Exactly, and that's another difference I've found between the two different types of phosphorus.
Yeah.
And anxiety-wise, Cindy's your anxiety would be much more apparent, I think, than Karen's anxiety. If Karen is anxious, I've had a lot of phosphoruses who are like Karen, the more kapha type. They come in sometimes. Their chief complaint is anxiety. I mean, they come in asking for help in regards to their anxiety, and they don't look anxious at all. They're kicking back. They sit back, on the chair like this with their legs up, and they're like, I suffer from
anxious.
anxiety. And I'm like, man, I look more anxious than you. And I don't.
yeah.
So that's the more kapha type of phosphorus like Karen. But Cindy, on the other hand, if they feel anxious, they're very much like most other people. You can read it.
More
You
transparent.
can totally see the anxiety
Yeah.
on their face, their body movements, their musculature. You can totally detect it.
Mm.
They get uncomfortable, just like most people. But Karen's type of anxiety is just so difficult to discern unless they vocalize it, which they have no trouble doing.
Yeah.
They're vocal. They like to talk.
Yeah.
And, just like I do. So that's why Karen and I talk forever.
Yeah. Makes me feel better.
Yeah.
I don't want to actually do anything about it. I just like talking about it. It makes me feel better.
Makes you feel better. Right. So, and physically speaking, Cindy, do you have any lung problems at all? Like shortness of breath, any kind of lung problems?
No.
You don't. Do you have history of lung problems, Karen?
I don't think I have a history of lung problems.
Like when you get sick, when you catch a cold, does it sometimes, more often than not, work its way into your lungs? You get a cough, some respiratory problems.
I think maybe.
You-
But I was a heavy smoker
Oh, okay.
for a long time, for several years. So.
Okay. You never have been diagnosed with asthma or any other lung
No.
condition?
Uh-uh.
Yeah. Do you have history of pneumonia, bronchitis?
No.
Okay. So it's
Pretty
actually
healthy, really.
your lungs are pretty good. So this is actually noteworthy because phosphorus tend to have respiratory problems, but neither one of you complains of it.
Yeah,
So
I had it when I was young.
You had what?
Viral pneumonia and
Okay, but no asthma or anything like
no
that.
asthma.
Yeah. So if I were to guess, my experience has been the more kapha type of phosphorus like Karen, they tend to have more health problems in general than the thinner, more vata type. That's been my experience. Because it's almost like their chi is more scattered. The chi is more scattered, thereby, it's like just different problems prop up,
Mhm.
including lung issues. But you're fortunate you don't have that. That's wonderful. Like respiratory weakness,
Yeah.
like asthma, shortness of breath. No, you don't have any of that at all. It's actually surprising.
Not really.
That's great. Okay, so anything else to add? I don't want to take any more of your time.
No.
You okay?
Yeah.
We covered. We covered the
I had
highlight.
one more question for her.
Yeah.
Do you keep a clean home?
Oh, good
Yes.
question.
I do.
Shoot, I was hoping it was a phosphorus. My friends come to my house and they call it lived in, which
Oh, yeah.
to me is like,
Comfortable.
why don't you just say it's dirty? Because it's dirty.
It's not very organized.
But I will say, by clean, for one, I just bought a new home. I just bought it
Right.
for the first time in
So
my
you're
whole
keeping
life.
it nice.
So this is really important to me.
Okay.
And before that, we were in a very small 2-bedroom apartment
Yeah,
with a dog
yeah.
and our cats and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So see, to me, clean is not by a lot of people's standards.
Okay.
Clean. I don't mean like.
OCD clean.
I don't mean yes.
Yeah.
Meticulous.
immaculate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I vacuum, I don't move
Anything.
furniture. I
Right.
don't move the couch
Yeah.
to go
Right.
underneath and
Right.
and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I might.
Do you do
The
dishes?
house is clean to me, but there might be dust
Yeah.
on. So. I mean,
Because
it's not.
I'm clean. I mean, I clean the
Yeah.
house, but I just have
your
it
family's
in kind
comfortable.
of disarray all the time because that's what life is like to me.
Exactly.
Whereas I do have the friends that clean everything and
Yeah.
it looks like a showroom.
See, that I'm
And
not.
I'm
I
like-
don't do that.
I don't mind visiting that, but I don't live like that.
Yeah.
And they come to my house and they're like, oh, it's so comfortable.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
Really?
No,
There's cat hair
my
everywhere.
house is comfortable. It's
Mhm.
not immaculate. I don't freak out about,
Mhm.
I mean, I have, like I said, I've got 2 dogs and
Yeah.
cats and
Yeah.
boys running around,
Right, all the time.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
What about dishes? How often do you do your dishes?
Dishes, I will leave, because I'm the only one, see, I'm going to look
Yeah.
for excuses, but
Yeah.
I'm the only one that does them.
Every 2 days?
So,
Don't say every 2 weeks. I wouldn't.
no,
believe
no.
it. Probably every
There
2
might
weeks.
be dishes in the sink like from the night before. There's
Oh,
not
that's
today, but there might be.
Okay.
I always have dishes in the sink from the night before.
Okay.
Always.
So for the students, that's not carcinosin. Carcinosis are not like that. Carcinosis probably do them that same day, every day.
Yeah.
I believe in being
It's too
comfortable.
boring. Mhm.
I
Yeah.
believe in being comfortable. If
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't religiously do the dishes so that my kitchen is spotless after Sunday night,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, there's a lot of domestic things around the house I just forget about. Like until the ring is around the toilet, then I go, oh,
See, yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
cleaned the toilet for a
I'll do
while.
that.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Because it's just not. It's more
Yeah.
important for me to be with my kids and
Exactly.
be with my friends.
Then clean the toilet. Gosh.
No, exactly.
I mean,
It just
you
doesn't
know.
rate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, you guys are fortunate you don't have OCD.
Yeah.
Because a
And
lot
our
of times,
husbands
a lot of
Yeah.
remedies
Your
do.
boyfriend.
You what? You what?
And our husbands or boyfriends
Yeah,
don't have
yeah.
I know, that's right, that's right. You're fortunate.
My boyfriend will vacuum before I will.
Is that right?
Yeah. And he moves furniture.
He moves
stuff
furniture.
like that.
So that works out good. You just leave it
And
for
he
him.
gets disgusted with the pet toys that are, you know, the dogs will leave. There'll be like 3 tennis balls under the bed, and
Yeah.
he's like outraged. I'm like, are
Yeah.
you kidding?
Now, I just thought of something for Cindy. How are you different from sulfurs? Because you have a family member who's sulfur.
Yeah.
How are you different?
Well, I'm definitely more emotional.
Okay,
Yeah.
than your sulfur
I
family
mean,
member.
I can't even just have an argument with my son, and I'm on the verge of tears, you know, and he's just being practical and analytical about it. I
Yeah.
guess.
Oh,
More
I wonder
brainy.
if my son is. I
More
can't
brainy,
wait to find
right?
out
Yeah,
what he is.
and he's not getting as emotional.
Yeah, they don't get as emotional as you guys.
Yeah.
So more brainy, they don't get as emotional.
And he doesn't need, I guess, as much personal relationship stuff. You know, he's good. Give him a house and food, and
yeah, he's fine.
yeah, he doesn't need all that. And I could use more. Could we go for a walk and talk? And,
Yeah.
You know.
More emotional, more like enjoy socializing more.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's why I sometimes wonder if my husband's sulfur too, because it's the same way.
As your son.
Yeah, that he doesn't need it as much.
Yeah. Would you say you're more laid back or he's more laid back, your son? Or
I think he's more laid back.
you think he's more laid back?
Mhm.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's pretty laid back.
Do you think he's internalizing it at times when he may not be laid back? He doesn't.
Yeah.
He may be holding it in.
Yeah.
It's not that he
sometimes it comes
truly-
out when he talks about it. Yeah.
So deep inside, do you think he's more laid back or he's just as laid back?
Maybe not deep inside.
Superficially, you talk more, of course,
Mhm.
but he's like more mental, so he appears more cool
Yeah.
superficially.
Mhm.
But deep inside, on an emotional, energetic level, how
Mhm.
would you compare yourself?
I
yourself?
probably am more at ease.
Exactly. That's what I'd say. Phosphoruses are more laid back. Sulfurs are not quite as laid back, but they might appear as if they are, because they don't talk as much.
Hmm.
When they
Yeah, definitely doesn't talk.
when you get him to talk, you realize he gets bent out of shape probably much more easily than you do.
Probably.
That's what I would guess.
Hmm.
Just comparing
He
phosphorus.
just keeps it inside.
Yeah, he keeps it inside,
Hmm.
and they get irritated more easily than phosphoruses. Phosphoruses don't get irritated very much. I mean, compared to other people.
Yeah, both kids have more irritations, I think, than I do.
Yeah, and one of
Things that I never even thought of, like the way people chew
yeah,
and the way people drive, and
Yeah, you
these
know,
things
some-
that I just am like,
whatever. Totally accepting, right?
yeah, it doesn't. I just don't even notice it.
Phosphoruses are so accepting. You guys are blessed. What do you think? You think you agree, Karen?
I don't know. There's sometimes I can get. I'm pretty easygoing about all that type of thing.
Right.
Once in a while you get thrown.
If I'm on an on edge day,
Yeah, you can get thrown, sure.
yeah,
Well, you're
I
human.
can get.
That's the
pretty
human
annoyed,
factor.
Yeah,
That's the human factor.
it's time for my remedy.
Yes. Call Nancy right away.
Can I come by?
I just throw somebody off the road. No, you wouldn't do that. Phosphoruses wouldn't go that far.
Yeah,
But you can get ticked by
yeah,
drivers that don't know how to drive.
yeah.
Right? Do you get ticked?
But then I laugh about it.
You laugh about
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm a mom,
it. Yeah.
so.
And how would you compare pulsatilla with sulfur? Because Sandy knows so much about these remedies.
Oh, they're like night and day.
Because your daughter is
They
pulsatilla.
really are. They're really different. They seem like, there's lots of times they do get along,
Yeah.
but raising the two kids is like raising totally different species
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just totally different. And I blamed it on the fact that she was a girl, until
Your
I
pulsatilla.
learned more. Right, yeah, I was just like, oh, a girl is so different. I always
Mhm.
thought.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even start seeing you until last year.
Mm-hmm.
So she was already 10.
Oh, but she's a pulsatilla girl.
Yeah, but then when I learned how they, sway and they can be hot one minute and cold the next. You know, I thought, oh, okay, well that makes sense.
So your Pulsatilla daughter is significantly, I would say, more emotional than your sulfur boy.
Yes, and much more sensitive even than I am.
Oh yeah.
So it's hard to relate sometimes to her sensitivity. You know.
Yes, she's
just,
more sensitive than
be there and validate her.
Right.
Yeah, I think I relate more to him.
Yeah, is that right?
In some ways, yeah.
Well, yeah, I'd say I can see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, of course we could go on and on about your kids, but we got to see Karen here.
I'm really curious to see. Yeah, I'm really curious to see my sons. Find out what you know.
Yeah, that's cool that he wants to come in.
Yeah.
You see, like Cindy totally understands her children's constitutions and has read about them, so she knows how to intellectually how to deal with them even better.
Yeah.
You
Well,
have to say, like, you know.
see, and I want just from listening to this, because my son also a lot of times he appears to be very cool, very laid back, but if he gets irritated, I mean, I'm amazed sometimes at the things that irritate him.
Oh, okay.
And he has the capability of being very emotional, as am I, but it's usually over a pet or then all of a sudden that coolness just melts away, and you know, but he can be very sarcastic. I get my feelings hurt in an argument much faster than, you know, and then he's always amazed. I'll be like, you hurt my feelings, and he's like, oh, and then, you know, I mean, he feels badly, but at the same time he's very logical.
Is he very mental? Is he very intellectual?
I don't know if because he's not, I mean, academically, no, he's doing it to get through it. He's doing it, but he's not doing it because he enjoys the books and stuff like that. He's really not, you know, he's athletic. I mean, I thanked God every day for basketball in high school because that's what got him through. You know, it wasn't because he wanted to get good grades or read a good book. That's so I don't think he's really an intellectual. I'm finding more, I mean, just I think college is turning out to be a good thing for him because it's gives him a little bit more exercise. It gives him an opportunity to think more than high school did.
Sure.
So I don't really, you know, I think he could be intellectual if he applied it.
I see. See, like if he was sulfur, he would be intellectual. Even if they just are intellectual. Like I have a sulfur client who is in his 50s, and he's illiterate for all practical purposes, but he's sulfur, so he's just an intellectual even though he's illiterate. And we know what I mean. But he's like, he likes to think about everything, and he has an opinion about just about everything, and he's usually right. Yet he can barely read or write.
Huh.
So that's how sulfurs are. They don't have to even be able to read, but they, you know, anything that comes up, they think about it, they have an opinion about it, and you know, it's just their mind is so strong, very strong.
Yeah.
So I think we can talk all day, but I know you guys have to.
Okay.
So thank you very much for your time.
Oh yeah,
ladies.
thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.